What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in Car Mechanic Simulator 2021 with me, the Virtual Mechanic. And yes, we are still in early access. I don't know how I managed to wrangle that. Yes, I just made a Wrangler joke. It was terrible. I am very much well aware, but I wanted to make that joke regardless. Yes, this is new from the Jeep Ram DLC. This is the 2012 Jeep Wrangler Standard Edition. There is only the one edition for all of these new DLC vehicles, which is pretty cool. Means there's plenty of room for you to make your own configs and do whatever you like with these crazy vehicles, if you're on PC at least anyway. But there we go. We got this one from the auction house, and it is available from all of the places, so you can get it anywhere. It's pretty good. The frame's the only bit that's really, really bad on this one, but we can definitely deal with that with a nice little spot of welding a little bit later on. Did we get a good deal for our Wrangler? No. Of course not. 32,581 is what I paid, and we could sell it for 28,646, losing out on 3,935 before we even begin. And we're not drag racing this one again today. We're going to take this one around the gravel track. This one here, pointing at the wrong one, trying to beat that Audi Quattro VM Rally. I don't know why I try Audi Quartz. I don't know. Audi Quattro VM Rally, setting a flying lap of 141.676. I'm don't know if we'll be able to do that with the beautiful Wrangler today, but hopefully we'll be able to do better than the Willys Jeep in the previous episode. Fingers crossed on that one. Back into this so we can finally see that new engine. Another brand new engine. This is the V6 Pentastar G engine, pumping out 285 factory horsepower. Yes, going to be on the gravel track with this one today, especially given that it is a four-wheel drive. There's our lovely little transfer case just there. But that engine, I think, looks absolutely fantastic for a V6. I love this intake on here. I think that looks just beautiful, the way it all matches in with the folds and everything. Very, very, very good-looking engine, in my opinion. But that's not what we're here for. Well, I guess it kind of is what we're here for entirely, realistically, is the Jeep look and that engine. Hopefully we can get some good runs on the gravel track a little bit later on. But let's get this beautiful Jeep started. You know what to do. We're going to get this one into the car wash, and let's get it all cleaned up. In the car wash with our beautiful Jeep Wrangler, and honestly, it's not that dirty. We can already see this bluey sort of greeny colour coming through here. I got stuck on that front bumper. It is massive, so it does make sense that I got stuck on it. But let's get it cleaned anyway, get all that dust and grime off, and get a good look at the colour on this one underneath all of the rust, obviously. That is quite a nice colour, though. I'm not going to lie. I do quite like that. Not sure about that part just there, but I'm assuming that's just where it's bent and it clips in with the colour of the engine bay, because that always comes out a slightly different tone. I'm assuming that's what it is anyway. Fingers crossed on that one. But anyway, let's get this interior done, get this beautiful Wrangler back on the lift, get that engine ripped out of there, and get everything else stripped down. The Wrangler's in the air. Let's check for that oil pan. There is an oil pan. It took me a little while to notice that one, so we need to drain it. Also, that quad exhaust looks pretty dope, in all honesty. Bit surprised about that one on a Wrangler, but there we go. We need to get the oil drained, so let's get started with that one. Out you come, and that is absolutely filthy. Horrendous from the Jeep Wrangler. Should have been better looked after, but let's get in and see what we need to take out to get this engine out of here. Now, it is four-wheel drive, which means we definitely want that drive axle just there. Oh, starter's on the other side. We need to get you out as well. We didn't start with it today. We started with the drive shaft. Get this rear drive shaft out of here. The big long main one. We will be swapping this one for a TKAftermarket one later, as long as it fits. I will show you regardless. Up we go to the little transfer case. Out you come. Just the one rusty bolt so far, but I can already see another one on the gearbox. There she is. Out you come. Off with that rusty bolt and out with that gearbox. And if we get this front exhaust section out as well, that should be everything. And we should be able to lift that engine out of there with all four wheels on. So let's get it down. Let's go and grab our engine crane and try and rip the engine out of our Wrangler. I should have said wrangle the engine out, shouldn't I? Definitely would have been funnier. Anyway, pull the engine out of there. Nice and easy. That is what we like. Let's jump back in and see what we've got going on in this engine bay today. You might notice at the corner of your eye a K&N Stage 1 air filter. My good friend Barker has given me some overlays, I guess, for all the... did I say air filter? I meant ECU. Given me some overlays for all the ECUs, and the way he's gone is the basic one, which is what this one is the Stage 1, and then the Stage 1 from the main game is Stage 2, Stage 3, and Stage 4, rather than basic stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3, if that makes sense. But they all look pretty good. We'll check them all out a little bit later on. I'm not sure if they're going to go public yet. We're still in the Barker's still in the testing phase, I believe. But let's crack on and see what else we've got. So we've got the ECU. We've got a cheeky little fuse box down here. Battery up there. Brake servo, the ABS pump and module. Coolant reservoir. Air filter in there. It won't let me zoom out any further. Let's swing around. Air filter in there. Radiator with a single fan housing kit. Power steering reservoir. And obviously our wishy-washy reservoir just there. All looking good. Fuel tank and fuel pump down the back. All 4 wheels are on, which is always a good indicator that you've pretty much got all of the suspension on there as well. So let's get started with draining these liquids. You all know the drill by now. Right-click, additional tools, drain tool, and then click on hold on the container, and it'll drain all the liquid out. Nice and simple. And to crack on, get the rest of these drained. Then we're going to get all of the engine bay and all of the suspension stripped out. And when we come back, it'll be time to work on the beautiful Wrangler's bodywork before we send it into the paint booth. That's all the mechanicals repaired, replaced, or upgraded, ready for our beautiful Jeep Wrangler. But now we need to get this bodywork fully sorted. And I want to start with that big old front bumper. Absolutely massive piece on there. What else we got? That front grille definitely looks like it should be a piece, but it's not. I would have liked it if that was a piece. But anyway, off with the fender, and then off with the hood on there with all its little accessory bits on it. Off with the door and a mirror just on that side. Out with the windshield. No door on that side, so nothing to take out of there. Rear window, trunk piece, just the trunk on its own. Rear window there as well. Anything else down the back here? Probably a rear bumper, but I do believe we were missing it. But there we go. Let's just double check. Yes, there is a rear bumper on there, along with a rear license plate, which we were missing as well. Out with that window, and that genuinely might be everything. It doesn't seem like it should be, but there we go. We'll get in and get this interior out. Lovely Jeep steering wheel. But anyway, I want to get into interior mode. Thank you. Out with that Jeep steering wheel. And then out with the Wrangler seats, because they've got specific seats, whereas the SRT8 and this Wrangler share a steering wheel. But there we go. That should be everything off. Let's give it a double check. That's not the screen I want. 1% showing up on there and nothing showing up there. So we generally do have everything. Let's have a look. Frame is at 10%. And we bought it for a little over 32,000. What do we reckon? I've been massively wrong on all of these recently. I'm gonna go for a classic 1,500 on our Wrangler. I reckon that should be about right. 900. Still way off, but never mind. Let's get in and check out the body shop. There are no body tuning parts for any of the Jeep or Ram DLCs. In fact, for most of the DLCs, apart from this one Mazda RX-7 and the 4 DLC cars from the drag racing DLC. They're the only DLC ones that have got additional body parts or body tuning parts. So anyway, into the body workshop. There we go. And the Jeep Wrangler. And there isn't really much for this one, so it is nice and simple. Everything's just a straight up, like for like, swap out. Nice and easy. So there we go. We are going to go repair what we can repair for this beautiful Jeep, buy what we need to buy, and then we'll get this beautiful car all back together and into the paint shop. Let's get our beautiful little Jeep all back together then, ready to go into the paint shop to check out the liveries and decide what we're going to do with it today. I think I've got everything, so let's just get going. We did manage to repair that fender and the hood there, along with the front bumper, but we didn't have any headlights, so we had to go and source a new set of headlights. Blank license plate on the front there, and obviously we did have to buy all new windows all the way around, and we didn't manage to repair this fender. We did have to go and buy a new one. We didn't have this door, so we had to go and buy that one, or this mirror, and obviously all of the windows are brand new anyway, so all the way around. And yes, you can put the rear window in before you put the trunk on. I'm not sure if that's meant to be. I will let the devs know, and we will go from there. But anyway, on with that rear bumper, and then some rear tail lights, plus our lovely little trunk piece on there. Tail light on you go, and then our blank license plate for the time being. Rear window, and then obviously we've got the door, window, and mirror to finish that side off, and that should be all of the bodywork. I do believe so, but we've got some beautiful Wrangler interior to go in there, starting with, oh, missed it, that rear bench down at the back there. Looking lovely, and then obviously our 2 Wrangler front seats. I will see if we can do anything colour-wise with the Quality of Life mod a bit later onto these seats. It'd be lovely if we could get alternating slats in there in different colours. I doubt it, but it would be lovely if we could. And then the Jeep steering wheel, I said earlier, is shared with the Jeep Grand Cherokee as well. But there we go. Is that well and truly everything? 100%, 100%, 100%. That is what we like. Let's get this beautiful Jeep into the paint shop, check out the liveries, and decide what colour we're going to go for. In the paint shop then with the beautiful Jeep Wrangler looking good. Let's have a look at the factory colours. Quite a few in there, if we're being honest, although that is a purple that definitely looks black in here. I don't know if that's just the lighting. And the next one actually looks exactly the same. Okay, but never mind. Then we've got a slightly lighter purple in there. And then obviously we'll just keep going through them. I'm not going to list every single one, but if I see one that I think looks quite nice, like we may go for that red. That's a good looking colour. What else have we got here? Anything that takes my eye? That's a very vibrant blue. Maybe. We shall see. We'll check it out once we've checked out the liveries. That's a nice orange. The yellow, definitely. I like that. Maybe that's what we'll go with. What else have we got? That looks about it. I think it's between the orange, the blue, or the red. And I'll be honest, we don't do that many blue builds, so maybe we'll go with this blue. I like that. We're going to stick with a lovely metallic blue on our Jeep Wrangler. Now let's have a look at the liveries. Slot number 1 is the Wrangler Camo livery 1. That's looking pretty good on there. I always like this symbol. I think this symbol shows up on all of their camos. To me, it looks like a squash frog wearing a bow tie. Not going to lie, but there we go. Let's carry on. Slot number 2 is another camo one, very similar. Does it change 2 colours? Oh, it does. So it gives you like a darker bit of the whichever colour of choice you went for. Let's just go back to that blue so that we don't lose it. Slot number 3 is the glitch digital camo, which we did on the Willys civilian Jeep there. That does look quite good, though. Next one, we've got the land camo, which has some painting issues if you stick with some of the original colours. Obviously, if you were going to do this, you could just mix that to black or a darker colour, or even match this green or the reddy browny colour on there and get it to look perfect. But as it stands at the moment, that's not what it should be, I don't think. Sand camo has the same issue, but it does look pretty good. And again, you could just change the base colour into one of these browns and you'd be absolutely fine. Then the sand camo 2, definitely not working with that blue on there, but it looks pretty good. And we've still got our bow-tied squash frog on there. Then we've got a white star on the hood. That does actually look quite good with the blue. A black star on the hood, which again does look quite good with the blue. And that is it. I think we're going to go for the white star, you know. I quite like the white star. It may be a bit boring and a bit plain, but sometimes we've got to keep a build a little bit simpler on the paint-wise. So a lovely metallic blue with a splash of white. And then obviously we've got this grey colour. I don't even know what to call it on all of our panel bits. Like we could change the front and rear bumper and maybe change this fender, but we couldn't change the side skirt or this rear fender or the roof piece. So we should definitely leave all of them as they are. I'm definitely liking the blue. I think we go with the blue, the white star, and then the greyish black fenders, and we try and match this colour. Maybe put it on the bolts or something like that? No, I think we should put white on the bolts. Definitely, I think white on the bolts would be a nice colour choice on there. So let's get on with that. Into here we go. I'm going to bring this all the way down. I believe that... No, that's how you do black. It's all the way up for white, isn't it? I get there in the end. Get a little bit confused sometimes. So let's get that applied with our lovely white star. And obviously, that blue does look absolutely incredible. I'm not going to lie, I am liking that. But let's open it up and just double check we've done the right thing. That's what I want. The engine. But I want to go to the ABS pumper module just so we can throw that on. And then we should be able to put the module on top just so we can see how them bolts turned out in the white. They're looking pretty good on there. Definitely, I think that's what we're going to go for. So let's pull that back out. And there we go. We've got a lovely metallic blue on the outside. Obviously, on the underside, it does go a bit of a lighter mattish blue. Maybe we should work our way with that. No, let's stick with the metallic stuff for the engine. Maybe we'll go for the metallic and then try and match this grey the best we can. I'm not sure what sort of finish that is. It's probably either a solid or a pearl finish on there, I reckon. So I'll try and match that one a bit later as we go on. Try and get some of the suspension parts, some of the engine parts in that grey. Definitely use some of this lovely blue. And maybe, just maybe, a little bit of chrome for our beautiful Jeep Wrangler. Although I don't want to do anything with the wheels because we've got this spare wheel and I want to make sure that matches with the rest of the wheels because realistically it should do because we do have the Wrangler rims to go with it. Fingers crossed on that one. Hopefully that's just the original factory colour. We'll test it a little bit later and see how that turns out. Not sure what we're going to do with the seats, so I'm going to pop these out now. We'll go into the paint booth and we'll see... We're already in the paint booth, but we'll go to paint parts and we'll see what we can do with these seats, if anything. Let's go in here, paint part. I'm going to use my search because the quality of life mod. Thank you very much. In there for the seat Wrangler. Pick the blue that we just used and then just see what options we've got. We can do the whole thing. Not a fan of that one. The base, the seat, or everything. And you do get that sort of metallic-y finish and more of a matte finish on the top there. We'd have to change the colour so it wouldn't be so shiny. But what if we went over to steel black? Can we do a mix with this one? Only that final one. Okay, so maybe we won't do any colour for the seats. I'd love to have get these centerpieces a different colour, but it doesn't look like we'll be able to do that. So we're going to skip this one. We're going to go all the way back to nothing just to make sure it doesn't actually accidentally paint something on there. We're going to come out of that. We're going to leave that one, but we will check out the steering wheel as we are here. Steering wheel, there we go. See if we can maybe get a little bit of this blue onto the steering wheel. What have we got? No, thank you. See, that does actually look quite good. You've got like the two tones of blue on the base. I do like that, I think. Maybe that's what we'll go for. Or just that one. That's all a bit too dark. I do think I quite like this, so I think we're going to go with that one there. You've got the dark blue that should match the body. Fingers crossed. Maybe if I do that. No, that... Oh, is that going to be better, though? Yeah, let's go for that. Let's put that on there. Chuck this back in the car and see what that all looks like. Oh, I'm stuck in the door frame, but there we go. Put these back in as we added no colour to them because they didn't do quite what I'd like them to do, but there we go. Steering wheel on, and how good does that look matched to the car? That's pretty good. I like that. Very impressed with that. The steering wheel looks fantastic, but there we go. That's the colours we're going to go for. I'm going to try my hardest to match this grey. Hopefully we get that one. And this beautiful metallic blue. I'm going to go get everything painted, get this beautiful Jeep back on the lifter, and then we'll start getting it all back together, ready to take on the gravel track. That's everything painted on our beautiful Wrangler. The engine bay is all sorted. All of the suspension is done as well and ready to go. And it is looking pretty good, in my opinion. Let's jump in and get started with the engine bay. Now, everything in here that you can see that looks dark, apart from the ECU, we'll talk about them in a moment, is all in a grey that matches this. And in case you were wondering, it's a pearl finish with a 0025. In fact, I'll show you in the paint shop. Let me just take this one out. Let's go and show... Oh, I'm stuck on that massive front bumper again. In we go. Ignore the engine on the stand at the moment. Let's just go to our wishy-washy. Let's just type it, shall we? It might be a bit easier. There we go. Go into our colour. There it is, looking good. And not on that screen. You want this screen. 0025 is the perfect colour match. Obviously, fully paintable and everything with the quality of life mod does change it ever so slightly, but it matches in pretty well. And it's a pearl finish, if you were wondering. But anyway, back out here to this engine bay. I think it's all looking good, matching in with all the fenders and bumpers and stuff. But let's carry on. Let's get that wishy-washy reservoir back in there. So then we've got the battery. The tray is in the grey. The bolts are in the black. And obviously the top is in that body match blue. All of this is in the grey with some body match blue on there. Grey, grey, grey. That is just a standard metallic black because it didn't want to go to grey very nicely. And then we've got grey and then blue on the ABS pump. Now, the power steering reservoir officially is in the same grey, but it doesn't paint the same as everything else. And if you force override it, you lose the colour marker where you can see how full it is, which I can't even see right now, over here somewhere. Just down there. When it fills up, you can see it a little bit later on. But that's all of the engine bay. Let's jump down to the suspension. Zoom out just a little bit. The front cross members in a beautiful white with blue bushings. And then the upper and lower arms are blue with white bushings. They've also got a splash of white on there as well. Looking pretty good. Lots of greys running throughout. Lots and lots of the greys in there. A little splash of the blue and a little bit of white. And we decided to keep the Brumbo brake calipers in their natural colour. You'll see why a little bit later on when we get to the engine. Down the back, very, very similar in that obviously white and then the blue. Let's take it into this mode. Might be a bit better to see. There we go. White central cross member piece and then blue arms, white, blue bushings on the white bushings on the blue. All looking pretty good. Lots of that grey in there as well. The shock matches in with the front. It's all looking pretty good. We even got grey on the fuel tank. And obviously blue on the fuel pump just there. But that's all of that sorted. Now we need to go and build that beautiful... I'm going to keep that open, actually. We need to go and build that beautiful Pentastar V6 engine. On we go. Looking pretty good. Now, the block, as much as I didn't want to use it, steel black and blue, which means I did the oil pan in steel black as well, just to keep them two blended in and looking good. But I wanted to keep some of the blue on there And the only way you can do that is by mixing it with a pre-existing colour, and steel black was the closest to that grey colour we've been using. The engine heads themselves, these are in white and blue, and to get them both looking the same, it takes a little bit of work. You've got to go back and forwards just a little bit from the paint, from the actual, that's my paint booth, but from the paint booth and back. So if you've got it there, it is much easier than having to go all the way out to the paint shop and all the way back in to the stand, because it's hard to match them. What's mixed one on one is not mixed one on the other, and in fact, it's not mixed 2 or mixed 3. It might be mixed 4, but only one of the mixed matches for each of them, and I can't remember which it is, so you're gonna have to play around with that. But if you use the paint and mix, they're alternate. So like this part here will be white on this one, and this will be blue, and this is blue, and this is white, so on and so forth. So it was hard to get them two to match. I had to pick one that worked well for it, which ironically then ended up keeping this red in here, which is why we ended up keeping the red brake calipers. But we'll get more onto that a little bit later on. Inside here, you've obviously got 2 camshafts either side, so 4 in total, and then 3 caps per camshaft, 6 each side, 12 in total, and then obviously your 3 spark plugs, 6 in total, with 2 cam gears on the end of each. They are both the same. They are all the same, should I say, and you can't replace them with the TK Aftermarket ones. I did try. But anyway, on we go. We got a tiny little timing chain just down here, and then there's 2 slightly bigger timing chains going off of there and off of there. Then we've got the timing chain shoes, 2 tiny little itty-bitty ones. On you go there, and on you go there, and then on to our big timing cover. Now, this is in the body matched grey, or the trim matched grey, I guess you could call it. Hopefully it'll work out a little bit later on. We shall see when we drop it in the engine bay. Now, the water pump is in blue and white, looking very nice on there, because blue and white and grey is the colour theme we're going with on this one today. Blue on the crankshaft, and obviously blue on all of these idle rollers as well. On you go, and one more just down here. On you go. Then we'll get our power steering pump, which we've done blue, white, but kept the red on it to match on with a little bit of red we've got up here as well. Alternator is in full blue, but keeping obviously its bronze visible underneath, all your wiring in there. And then we've got just a blacked out serpentine belt as usual. And I wasn't sure what to do with this. Everything was a bit over the top, so I just went with a grey, sort of hide it in with that timing cover. That's the sort of thing I was going for it, and it looks pretty good. Onto our oil filter, which just naturally comes in a white. So we kept it with that, so it sort of blends in with our white theme that we've got going on. Up here, fuel filter, we kept that in its natural red because we've got a little splash. We will have a little bit more a little bit later on. Let's carry on, though. Engine head covers, they are in the body match grey, matching in with that timing cover. That was a little bit bright on there, wasn't it? So let's just get all of them in. On you go. And then we've also got some lovely blue ignition coils just dropping in there to finish that off. On you go, and then on you go. Hopefully all of these greys in the engine bay will match up, and this is going to look pretty good when we drop it in. Fingers crossed on that one. Then we got our intake manifold B. On you go, and we've done that one in the blue, looking very, very nice. Get you all bolted up, lots and lots of bolts, keep going around. Then we've got some fuel rails to go on next. Now these are in red and white, and the red was intended to match in with this red. Not perfect, but definitely very, very close. And then obviously we just kept that red because if you override that, you lose the text, and sometimes it looks a little bit funny. So I decided not to for this one. But anyway, fuel rail on the other side in white and red also. And then our intake manifold is in the grey that everything else is to keep it all matched in. And on the top, it should look pretty good with all the greys in the engine bay, as long as they have actually worked and all come out the same. The throttle up here, we did a cheeky blue and white on that one. Looking very good. Not too over the top on the blue this time, have I? Normally I would have gone way over the top on the blue, but this time I reckon it's probably the white is more visible than the blue, and we're going to have white bolts as well when it all goes in the engine. These exhaust manifolds are in a beautiful white, and yes, the rest of the exhaust will all be in a wonderful white as well. On you go there, and that is it for the V6 Pentastar engine. Looking fantastic. Blue, grey, black, white, and red. More colours than I normally do on an engine, but it's looking pretty good nonetheless. Let's get it off the stand. Let's get it dropped into our beautiful Wrangler. Let's get this V6 Pentastar engine in then and see how good it looks. Plus get everything all finished off and ready to go. Let's just jump into photo mode without seeing it fully. Up we go. And we're going to throw a little bit of torch on there. And actually, that shows you how close the grey match is on everything. I'm glad we did that. That's looking patting myself on the back right now because I think I did a fantastic job matching them. But anyway, in we go with a little bit of light torch on, and that's looking all pretty good on there. The greys all match. As I say, the only one that really doesn't is that power steering reservoir. I don't know why that one doesn't want to change like the rest of them do, but it is what it is. There we go, though. I think that's looking pretty good, especially with all of them white bolts in there. But let's get it up in the air. We've got a few bits left to go for the underside. Gearbox, transfer case, 2 drive shafts, and obviously all of the exhausts and a starter just to finish it off. So let's get on and start with the gearbox. In you go. You are in grey, but we did keep a little bit of red on you just to blend in with a few other red bits, which ironically are all here, apart from the brake calipers, obviously. But there we go. Transfer case is in a black and blue, just to give a bit of colour definition to that one there, looking pretty good. And if we just nip in down here, the front drive shaft is in a cheeky little grey. I went to bolt it up, even though it doesn't need bolting. Then we got all of our exhaust. Obviously, that's all in a beautiful white. Catalytic converter is the cat delete pipe, thanks to the TKAftermarket. And then a final exhaust pipe, and we'll do the rear muffler in just a moment. On with the drive shaft, TKAftermarket one. It does fit really well and doesn't clip in with this Jeep because, well, it's so high off the ground because it's a Jeep. So there we go. That's all of that spin around here. Cheeky little starter hiding in just there, which we did in the body match grey. And as you can see, it's very close to that steel black colour anyway. So it does kind of all work, especially with them lovely white bolts. Looking good with the white bolts. I'm liking white bolts. I might start using them a lot more often. And then round the back, obviously, the rear muffler, on you go in your beautiful white. Now, that should be everything apart from our wheels. So let's get this beautiful Wrangler down onto the ground. Yeah, you are looking very good. I like that. Just the wheels left to go and some windows to tint. I think we're going to keep all of the lights as they are. They're looking all pretty good. Don't know if we'll be able to get rid of that anyway, or that. So I think, or maybe, because it's not got the yellow on the back. So maybe we try and get rid of these side markers if we can. Any down the back? No. So maybe we do try and get rid of these side markers. So let's close that up. Let's get in with a window tint and let's see what we want to do with this one. I'm just going to bring you guys in with me because it won't take me long now. I've kind of mastered this. If we go into the windshield, I should have a 60 on there. Nice and simple. We'll go with that one to start with. Rear window, you can go all the way up to 100. Next window is the front. Yep, so we want that one on the 60. Nearly pressed it on the wrong one there. Then left front window 60. And then the back windows, obviously, all want to be that fully blacked out look. On you go. On you go. Then we see what else we've got. Trunk. I'm assuming that's probably going to do that. Yeah, I don't want to do that. We'll leave that one as it is. Front left fender. Can I grey you out? What do we reckon? 90? Maybe a bit dark. 85. I think we can get away with 85 on there. That's exactly what I wanted it to do. So we want to make sure that's the other side and we're pinning it to the same spot. Yes, there we go. And then I'm hoping I'm going to leave the front bumper as it is. Can I do the yellows in there? I cannot. Oh, that is such a shame. I was really hoping to be able to do the yellows in there or the oranges in there, but we'll leave them ones. We got rid of the side marker ones, so that's not too bad. But anyway, let's come off of that. Now we've done it all. And let's just see how this window tint looks. We take a seat. Oh, that's absolutely perfect on there. And it does look pretty good from the outside as well. Pleased with that. Now, the last thing we are going to do, and I have already decided what I'm going to do with it, but there's one thing I've got to check first if we can do it. So I'm going to take this piece off of here because I don't really want the silvery rims on this one. It's not really going to match in with what I've done for the build style. So let's give this a go. Come on, Quality of Life mod. You can be nice to me for a change. Let's see. I don't want it blue. Maybe, do we want it blue? No, we don't want it blue. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go onto my white because that's what I've been using. I'm going to go across here and I think mixed 3. That keeps all of the black bits black, the body coloured bit body coloured. Yes, and then a white rim. Let's put that on. And hopefully, fingers crossed, this is going to work. I'm not sure if it will. In we go. Please just look a good white. That's what I'm talking about. And the texture on that, you can see it's got a little bit of a bumpy texture on it, which this part hasn't, but only when you're looking at it from the perfect angle. And even then, sometimes you don't even notice it that much. Pleased with that. I'm so glad we could do that. I would have been so disappointed if we couldn't. So let's go in. Let's just run straight in here and let's paint our rims because we know what we're doing and what we're using on that. Obviously, I'm going to select a base white on here, but I'm not going to use that base white. I'm going to use the Quality of Life Force white, which is pretty much, no, that is what every other single white piece on this build is. And I just want it to full and the bolts, which is, I could do loads of them. So let's just go paint, material, and mix. On you go. Nice and easy. Let's get these onto some tyres, get these onto the Wrangler, and then see how good it looks once I've topped up all the liquids, hopefully in just a moment. Just balancing this last rim now, and then we'll get the 2 on this side finished. And hopefully this beautiful Jeep all finished off looking pretty good. I haven't talked about the size of this one because all 4 rims are exactly the same size. So we'll go for this one and then we'll talk about it. Obviously, we've gone for the Wrangler rim. Makes perfect sense. But we've brought it up a few sizes. It starts at a 17-inch. We've gone for a 20-inch. Then with 285 width, I think it starts at 265. And we've gone for a 65 profile. 65 on there. 285 there. 20-inch on the rim, obviously. No ET needed, and it does look pretty good. We'll get that on, and then we'll take a quick look at the factory sizes for it, just to see how close I was with my guesstimations. In we go there. That's not the screen I want. 255, 75, 17. So I went up 285 quite a bit, down 10 in that, and up, obviously, 3 inches on the rim. Pretty wild. Down you go. But before we get this beautiful Jeep outside in the sun, it is pretty much finished now. I just want to show you one more thing. I talked about these at the beginning, so let's go and put these on in order so you can just have a cheeky quick look at them. The ECU Type A comes out with the K&N Stage 1 on there, looking very nice. Take that one out. Stage 2, or the Stage 1, comes out as a Holly MSD Stage 2, looking pretty good on there. The next one is a Stage 2, but actually it's Stage 3 according to the thing. It was a Jet Performance product, Stage 3, looking good. And then obviously the big, powerful one, as I always go for, the Stage 3, which is actually the Haltech Stage 4. Barker's made all of them. They look absolutely fantastic. I'm hoping he will make them public some way, shape, or form. They do need the TK Aftermarket mod to work, though. So bear that in mind if it ever comes. That's how it will be used. But there we go. I think that's all looking absolutely brilliant. The Jeep's now all finished. Let's just double check that. The Jeep's now all finished. And let's get this one outside in the sun. Not long left to go now. But anyway, our beautiful Wrangler is all finished. Apart from one thing. Let's get on and get some finishing plates on this beautiful beast. VM plates. Just put Wrangler on it. It fits perfectly. No abbreviation required. I quite like that. Let's get you off and get our show plate or our finishing plate on it ready to sell. There we go. And now I quite like this. The only thing I'm a bit disappointed about is we couldn't get that center cap to go black, and it just makes it look a total bit different. But I think the 20-inch rims closer match the rim that's on the back there than the original 17s that came with it. They looked a lot smaller. They are looking pretty good. I am quite pleased with how all of that turned out. Our blue Wrangler with the white star on the hood there and the white rims. Looking fantastic. That engine bay looks pretty good with that body match grey in it. But anyway, let's jump in and see what this beautiful Wrangler sounds like. Obviously, we didn't do anything with the seats today, but we did put some of that blue on the steering wheel and our flappy paddle shifters. But let's get it started up and see what the V6 Pentastar engine sounds like. Well, that's different. It's sort of got like a sore throat grumble, but not. I don't know, it's weird. But anyway, let's give it some gas. Ooh, that sounds a bit wild at the top end, doesn't it? Like that one. Sounding pretty good. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get the Wrangler onto the dyno. Let's see what its horsepower is, what its drag rating will be, and then let's get it onto the gravel track and see what we can do with it today. The Wrangler's on the dyno with its V6 Pentastar G engine with 285 factory horsepower. We have got performance parts and additional TK Aftermarket performance parts in this one today. So how much have we gained? A gain of 289 horsepower, 102% gained. Absolutely fantastic. I love it when it's more than a whole new engine. Bringing us up to 573 horsepower and a drag rating, not that we're drag racing, of B306, which is actually pretty good. It's the second to top category. So I'm quite impressed with that with the Jeep Wrangler. I'll put on screen now the dyno numbers from just performance parts, so you can see the difference between just performance parts and the TK Aftermarket performance parts as well. So I'll throw that on screen now. Have a look at that one. There is quite a bit of difference. You know, we didn't make it to the B class. It wasn't quite a whole new engine added on top. things like that. But anyway, get rid of that. Enough of that. Let's have a look at the gearbox tune for this beautiful Wrangler. I've gone for the gravel track today. Let's have a look. There she is. I went for a 4.4 ratio. That's around where it started, in all honesty. 69 kilometers an hour in first gear. Nice. Up to 221 kilometers an hour in fifth gear. Now, I have I've changed this quite a lot from when it started. Not so much first gear, but second, third, fourth, and fifth are all in a totally different place. So do bear that in mind. First gear, it still struggles with a little bit off the line, but apart from that, it's absolutely fine around the gravel track. We do also have our Stage 3 ECU, technically Stage 4 on the sticker on it anyway, giving us an additional 16% tuning. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much to Barker for making those beautiful overlays for all of the ECU Type A's. Not quite for the Type B's yet, but we'll see. So hopefully they will be public. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Barker will make it public in some way, shape or form. But if not, I'm sure if you ask him nice enough on the Discord server, he may let you have them. But you need TK Aftermarket to put them on. But anyway, if you want to learn how to tune it perfectly every time, check out this short up in the top right-hand corner. It's also linked in the description below, along with a link to the carburetor tuning if you want to learn how to do that one every time as well. But enough about that. Let's get the beautiful Wrangler onto the gravel track, see what sort of lap times this beast can put down. On the gravel track with the beautiful Jeep Wrangler. Are we going to be able to beat that Audi Quattro? Doubtful, but we have to find out. This is the whole point of why we're coming to the gravel track with the Jeep Wrangler. Plus, it is an off-roader. This should be pretty good here, in all honesty. There is only one way to find out, though. We need to get started. But before we do that, we're going to do 2 laps, a standing lap, and then a flying lap. And the flying lap's the one that counts. You won't see too much of the standing lap, but you will see all of the flying lap, regardless of what happens. And I did say that this Jeep does have a bit of a dodgy start in gear 1. So let's get on with it so you can see that bit as we go. Come on, you beautiful Jeep. Let's do the gravel track. Let's conquer it. Let's go off the line. That's what I mean about the first gear thing. A little bit weird, but once it's done that there, it is absolutely fine. So let's crack on. We definitely want some braking for this first corner. Up and around we go. Come on, you little Wrangler. Up and over the crest of the hill and then down into the hairpin on the other side. Heading in towards the lovely little jump. Bit squiggly there over the jump. Dab of brakes. Too much brakes. Oh, but luckily we stayed on the track. We nearly went off there. That would have been absolutely awful. But around we go. Uphill we go. Come on, you beautiful little Wrangler. You can do this. You are an off-road beast. I mean, granted, you probably are more built for rock crawling and stuff like that. Not just a flat-out gravel track. But there we go. Coming up towards the last corner. Definitely going to want some braking here. I should have used a lot more than that. But this is our standing lap, so it's not important. The important one starts now. Our standing lap was a 1:47.8. Not the quickest, but not too shabby. Coming up towards our first corner. Lots of braking on there to make sure we get around this one nice and easy. And over the crest on the other side. Round we go into the first hairpin. Bit of braking on there. Make sure we get around without crashing into that tree. Round we go. Nearly a little bit slippery there. Lake on the left-hand side and over the jump. I'm going to let off the acceleration. I was worried I was going to crash there. I thought we were going to hit the tree and ruin this entire run. That would have been terrible. Round we go anyway. Coming down this side, we got a 90 degree coming up. It's probably a little bit more than a 90 degree. Bit of braking on there and some... Oh, I let go of the steering wheel. My controller. You know what I mean. But anyway, carrying on around this way. Into the uphill squiggly section before the hairpin. Let's go. Oh, I didn't want to do that. I want to get off of here as quickly as possible. This is the flying lap. This is the one that counts. Come on, you little Wrangler. Round the hairpin into the narrow section where I don't want to roll. I do not want to roll. We're on our flying lap. We need to get the best time possible. Letting a bit off the acceleration there. Bit of braking so we don't hit that tree. And into the forest section. Come on, you little beast. Come on, get a good set. At least get into the top 5 on the lap time board. Please, please, please. Come on, you beautiful little Wrangler. We can do this. Coming on around. Hopefully flat out through the rest of this now. Bit of a tight corner, this one here. As long as you pull it right, you'll be fine. Then threading the needle. That one's a little bit difficult as well. Coming up towards the last corner. Whoa, I messed it up just as bad as I did on the first lap. But come on, let's push. 1:43.735 for the flying lap on the beautiful Jeep Wrangler. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. I'm quite pleased with that. 147.820 for the standing lap. 143.735 for the flying lap. Will it end up in the top 5? Let's get back to the garage and let's find out. With a 143.735, did we make it? So close. That is... Oh, I'm disappointed. I mean, I already know where it sits. It literally sits in 6th place, but it is so close to getting it. And I'm even more disappointed because one of my practice laps, I hit a 141 something. I don't know if it would have been 1st place or 2nd place, but that's the whole deal of how I do it, the way I do it. Basically, I'll do practice laps until I'm happy with the gearbox tune, and then that's it. Then we just go and record, and we see what happens. If we get a bad run, which unfortunately it wasn't a bad run, but if we get a bad run, that's the way it goes. No redos. You get that one go. If it doesn't work out the way you wanted it to, it doesn't. I'm so disappointed we couldn't quite get it in the top 5, especially after having a 141 something. I can't remember what it was at some point in my practice runs. But there we go. It is what it is. Life happens. The Jeep Wrangler, 6th out of 17. Still pretty good on the Graveltac lap time board. But anyway, let's get back outside, see if we can sell the Wrangler on for a nice bit of profit, and then see what we've got coming next. That V6 Pentastar engine looks absolutely fantastic in the Jeep engine bay. Bit of a shame that we couldn't get a slightly better time around the gravel track. I mean, more driver error than anything else. We know the Jeep could have done it because I definitely set a 141 while I was practicing. But there we go. 140, what do we have? 143.735 seconds is what we ended up with. It is what it is. But how much did we spend on this car? We bought it for 32,581 at the beginning and could have sold it for a loss of 3,935. But we obviously did not do that. We spent a further 73,496 upgrading, modifying, tuning, and painting this beautiful Wrangler, putting our total spend at 106,177. Is there some money to make from this beautiful Wrangler? There is only one way to find out. Let's take a look. Well, there she is, all 100% complete and definitely looking a lot better colour than that brown. I'm not a fan of brown, you might have guessed. But anyway, we managed to squeeze a bit more power out of that Pentastar engine from a 285 up to 573. A gain of 102% power-wise. Absolutely fantastic. I quite like the Pentastar engine. Very, very good in this game and, you know, would have been better on the gravel track if it wasn't for driver error. That's it, driver error. But anyway, can we make some money? We spent 106,077 on this Jeep. Is there some money to be made? Yes, there is, with a sale of 128,188. That does leave us with a profit of 22,111 from the beautiful Jeep Wrangler. I love this one. I just wish I hadn't messed it up so much on the gravel track and we would have got a good time down. We have got one more that we're going to run around the gravel track, and that is the other Willys Jeep that we are going to 3-star that one, just so it's a bit more of a comparison against the civilian Willys Jeep. But anyway, it's time to say goodbye to the Wrangler. Off you go. And by the time I come back, the DLC will be out. Monday the 6th is when it comes out, and that's when my next video will be. But what are we going to have for that one if we come around here? That is the Ram 3500 that is too long for the trailer, but we're using our imagination. We did have some planks under there when we were towing it because we're safe like that. Trust me, safe. Doesn't quite bash at the front, which I'm quite pleased about on there. But anyway, let's jump in. The Ram 3500 Standard Edition. Again, only one edition for all of these. This one's available from all of the places, and we got ours from the auction house, officially the bad auction house. But realistically, this could have been from anywhere. It's only the dust and some of the missing panels that makes it a bad auction house, because that stats is pretty good. Did we get a good deal for it? No, not even remotely. 68,889 is what I paid, and I could sell it for 58,240, losing out on 10,649. But we will be taking this one down at the drag strip, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we might get a good run from it, maybe get some of that money back. The engine in it is the V8 Hemi 345 4x4, which is another new engine. I'm looking forward to building this one and putting as many performance parts on it as we can, but we're not going to use any TKAftermarket performance parts for the Ram 3500, just the basic performance parts. See how much we can squeeze out of this one, because it is the same engine in the Yellow Sport. So when we do the Yellow Sport, that'll be a nice comparison between the 3500 and the 1500, because it is the same engine and relatively similar setup, so they should be closely matched. Should be. being the operative word there. So do join us back here on Monday when the DLC comes out to check out what we do with our Ram 3500. Obviously, you guys will already be playing it by then. But what sort of suggestions do you have for me for my Ram 3500? Obviously, we're not going to put any TK Aftermarket performance parts on it. We still put some of the base TK Aftermarket parts on it, like the battery setup and stuff like that. But we won't use that performance battery. We'll just use the standard battery on it. That's what our plan is anyway. So hopefully you do join us back on Monday for that. You can also hit the join button below and become a VM Garage Club member for £2.99 a month, less than a cup of coffee. And it really does support me. Like these guys on screen, absolute legends. Plus, you do get access to all my configs and liveries I create. Normally for the competitions, which would have been today, but we've obviously had new DLC. So I didn't enter this current competition, but I will be back for the next one. Don't you worry. Anyway, that's enough for today. I hope this video has been up to standard. I've been feeling a bit down lately, so if it's not, I do apologise, and we should get back to normal very, very soon. So I'm off to play some Nanolords. Definitely very excited about that. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day wherever it is you're getting up to, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Like and subscribe for Virtual Mechanic.